Welcome back to Block TV. Now, with a goal dedicated to bringing emerging markets into the digital world and growing a network that includes all manner of people from across the globe, I speak now with Electroneum CEO and founder Richard Ells about all the latest products and projects that they have for 2020. Richard, thank you so much for being with us again here on Block TV.
Oh yeah, thank you very much. Much appreciate being on. Very kind of you to invite me.
All right, absolute pleasure, Richard. Now, I want to kick off, I guess, I'll let you take the start on this and just tell us a little bit about some of the new launches, key products and developments that you guys have had kicking off 2020.
Yeah, it's been a crazy start to the year. So we've been this is a convergence point for us. There's been an awful lot of tech being worked on, tons of software being written over the last 2 years, which has kind of come out all of a rush. So the first thing that you might have seen us last year running some tests with people being able to top up their mobile airtime and data directly with ETN from our Electroneum app. So that was good success last year, but it was all sort of testing really. And also we were trying to get launched a platform called AnyTask.com, which enables people to earn ETN. Well, this has all come together at this sort of convergence point. So we've launched AnyTask.com. This enables people in the developing world to sell digital tasks, a little bit like Fiverr or Upwork, but they don't need to have a bank account. So they can earn ETN directly. The people who buy the tasks are still buying them with credit card or debit card, so they're very familiar with that process. But the seller ends up with a remittance in ETN. So what we've done is to enable many more people around the world to immediately have something that they can buy straight away. We've now pushed out to 140 countries plus with airtime and data top up directly from the Electroneum app. So we've got a much bigger global audience. We've got literally thousands upon thousands of sellers have signed up. We've had 100,000 plus people sign up to the site in total in AnyTask. So it's been really good. Hundreds of tasks have been purchased in the first 2 weeks of a very soft launch. So it's been a really exciting time. And we've just gone live on Beaky. We've got a new website live. We've just been crazy couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm. Now, I mean, I've had a quick chance to take a gander through the AnyTask website itself, have a look around, see some of the services being offered. Now, while there certainly do seem to be at least a decent number of users on there, sellers offering various goods, anything from logo design to content writing, any of these sort of usual products you'd see out there on a Fiverr-style website. I recognize it's only about a couple of weeks old, but there did seem to still be, at least from a user perspective, not a vast number of sort of reviews up there yet. Do you expect sort of much growth, much development on there? And what's the sort of growth rates you're seeing now in terms of actual trades being done there on the website?
Yeah, well, there's been about 250 tasks sold so far. So I mean, it's early days. We've only just literally today had our pixel okayed by Facebook. Facebook had marked it as a cryptocurrency related, so we were unable to track what our advertising spend was getting us. Weirdly, we could run the adverts. We had test ads running. We spent a couple of $1,000s on test ads just to start the ball rolling, but we couldn't track what our conversions were. Very odd sort of state of affairs. But Facebook have signed it all off today. The tracking is now in place. Literally just came live at lunchtime. So we're now able to actually see our return of each of our campaigns. So we've got quite a few different ads running where we are going to be driving buyers into that network. So we've got tons of sellers, but sellers will mostly be interested if they start seeing things sell, of course. So you will start seeing that happen. Like I said, we've had a couple of hundred sales, which is actually more, I think, than any of the other blockchain attempts at making one of these sites. There's been a few actually that have tried, but they were always pure crypto at both ends.
Right.
And from our point of view, from a regulatory point of view, that's very difficult and very dangerous because of the total anonymity. We're obviously a regulatory embracing crypto. We're a KYC AML compliant crypto. So it was important for us to have transparency of the purchase process. So we're still having debit card and credit cards. And that actually is done two things. One, it's made it really easy for a conventional buyer in the States or Australia or anywhere else to make a purchase. But it's also meant that, of course, this new new real money, fiat money, coming into the crypto ecosphere. So we've got people making a purchase. We've got a third-party OTC desk making the conversion into ETN. They have a pool of ETN, and they make the payments out to the seller. So it's never been done this way before. It's very exciting, and yes, you'll see much bigger things, lots and lots of reviews, lots and lots more sellers, of course. Yeah.
I want to bring it out to the sort of wider conversation on that front, because I suppose I wonder, with services like, let's say, Fiverr, for example, that do already exist out there, what's the incentive, and I'm focusing here on sellers, to utilize the Electroneum network? If they've got access to these things, why would they not?
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I do apologise.
No, not at all. Please.
It's a really obvious incentive, actually. So Fiverr charge 20%, for instance, to the seller. So we charge 0 fees to the seller. We actually put a 5% network fee to the buyer. But because we are this sort of corporate, socially responsible freelancer network, who are trying to attract the unbanked and trying to empower the unbanked and raise their prosperity, we thought it was very unfair to take the money, the value off them. So we've pushed the 5% charge that we charge to the buyer. So if something costs $10, then they end up paying $10.50 because there's this 50-cent service charge. So that covers the cost of running the network. But so straight away there's a 20% gain if you sold at exactly the same price you do on Fiverr. But of course the other thing is we're not ever telling anybody stop selling on Fiverr if you are already. If there are unbanked people that are managing to use Fiverr and have and are using one of the more expensive remittance systems that they have, because they have made attempts at getting remittance to these people, but it's just an expensive way to do it. Remember, we can send $3, $10, $100 of ETN in value to somebody anywhere in the world for for a fraction of 1 US cent. And of course, all of the normal, if there is such a thing, standard remittance services are orders of magnitude above that. So crypto solves a problem that Fiverr are not using. So we would be suggesting that anyone who's unbanked could be listing their task on AnyTask and gaining a new way to earn. But it doesn't stop them still being on other platforms. So if there are sellers that are on other platforms, they could be on ours as well. It gives them another route to market.
Yeah, certainly adding to a potential myriad of options out there. I suppose just understanding the way you foresee the use on the network with the way sellers are using it, are you generally finding users keeping the payments they're receiving in Electroneum itself, or generally converting to local fiats?
Well, to be honest, we haven't run those full stats, but it would be quite difficult to convert to local fiat unless there is somebody entrepreneurial on the ground that's made use of the airtime. So we have seen that already in Africa in a couple of places, and as now we've pushed out to a much larger audience, we'll probably start seeing it elsewhere. And what you'll find is that somebody that has the ability to resell airtime. So a local storekeeper, for instance, could then have the ability to buy that ETN from the users. They will mark it up, of course, but they have the ability to buy ETN from users, and then they can bulk purchase airtime through the system, and then they sell that airtime at a markup to other people that come into the store. So there are people entrepreneurially using the route to market, but equally we will be seeing, and I know we're already seeing this, people who are earning that ETN, pushing it straight out to airtime and data top up. Now there's been a bit of a leak actually. Somebody noticed that Nigeria electricity top up was available in our app for a little while. It's disappeared again because it wasn't fully working. But we are working to get utility top ups live as well. So that would be a much larger purchase value than your airtime and data top up. But that would keep your lights running, keep your power to your house. So it's a much bigger thing, much tighter integration into a larger expense that these people have. So you're going to see some of those rolling out over 2020. And we've just taken on a guy starts on Monday, whose job it is to reach out to global utility companies and start introducing them to this new digital way to top up your utility bills. So again, exciting times for that.
Certainly a development. Another feature in which you guys have begun to spread out a little bit and try and grow some of your reach with a new listing on the Beaky Singaporean exchange. Tell us a little bit about what brought that about, and what significances you hope to see in network growth from that.
Yeah, great. Well, we've just so you might have seen that that we've launched with Cellcard up in Cambodia. So that's a direct relationship with Cellcard. So Cellcard and we've been bouncing flights in and out of Cambodia for quite a long time actually. Whilst we work that deal. Now, when you see the other airtime data, not all of them actually, but when you see most of the other countries we've gone live with, we've gone live through a third party who is actually ending up uh, paying them US dollars, and we haven't got a direct relationship with all those MNOs, but we've enabled people to use those MNOs, which is the important thing. But where we've got a number of relationships in Southeast Asia, you're going to see more and more of these direct relationships growing. The guys down at Cellcard are ridiculously a great bunch of guys. They really want to help the Cambodian people. They're proudly Khmer. They are very progressive with technology. And so we're going to see more of those growing throughout Southeast Asia. And as such, we really wanted to have more exposure onto the exchanges that are predominantly being used in the Asian markets. Beaky was an obvious choice. Often they are in the top 10 of cryptocurrency exchanges around the world. They have a fantastic reputation. They've got a sterling reputation, and it's growing and growing. So we wanted to be part of Beaky. They're, again, great team, very strong team. Again, basing around regulation and about doing things right, making sure they follow the rules. And I think they're going to be one of the ones that are here to stay and will be a real powerhouse in the future.
Mm-hmm. Now, as well, with all these sort of partnerships that you guys are growing on, developing towards, I mean, just taking a look, the basic sort of metrics of the system as a whole and network growth as a whole, there does seem to be a little bit of stagnation. Speaking predominantly about the volume metric about trades and electronium at the moment. Any concerns there for you at all? Or as you grow, do you expect to see any sort of changes? Sort of if you could detail that for our viewers.
Yeah, well, it's a difficult call. I mean, one of the things that we've never got involved in is any of the stuff that the shenanigans, shall we call it, that you see in the top 100 coins. You go and have a look at the top 100 coins. Quite a lot of, well, a number of them will have more trading volume in a day than their entire market capitalization. Some of them are 300% of their market capitalization. There is a lot of games being played. There's a lot of wash trading taking place. There is a lot of market manipulation taking place. We are regulated. We are not interested in getting involved in any shady business that could cause us a problem. By the end of 2020, every crypto business in the UK has to be FCA regulated. So going into 2021, we've got to be FCA regulated. We are a fintech. So we see ourselves as a fintech. We've got KYC, we've got anti-money laundering. Everything is built to be regulatory compliant. So it's very important to us to maintain that. So we don't do anything shady. Most of the others are doing things shady. Now, from our point of view, we've never manipulated our price. A price and volume are going to be based on speculation for sure. And do I think that we are undervalued? Well, my lawyers would kill me for talking about price and for value, but we our actual market capitalization of ETN sits at just under, I think, what our treasury calculation is. So if you take a stock listed company and look at what their treasury is sitting in the bank, there would be no valuation on us on anything we've done. So not one of the things we've achieved, not one bit of software we've written, not one line of code has been valued into our price. So do I think that there is room to move? Yes, but am I asking people to speculate? I am not. I'm not allowed to do so. I'm not allowed to talk about price. But I suspect as people become more aware of our project, then you might see more people trading ETN. I can't control volumes and I can't control price, but all I can do is deliver what I said I would do at the beginning. We went off and launched Electronium on the premise of getting mass adoption. We now have more than nearly every other cryptocurrency in the world in that we have adoption. We have people using this in an everyday way. We have people earning ETN. We have people spending ETN. There's a very clear ecosystem now of this being used in the real world. It's global. It's being used. There's 100,000 plus transactions on the blockchain every month. You're going to see that massively increase as well, in my opinion. So I can't control what people do on exchanges, but do I think we're going to see more interest in our project as people start to learn about it now that we are very, very visibly out there? I think we will. I mean, I think you have to look at other cryptocurrency projects that are similar in nature. So if we were to pick Dash, for instance, go and look at the coin market cap of Dash, go and find out what interest there is in that cryptocurrency. Do I think we will have more real world transactions and more real world use than Dash? Yeah, I do think that we will have more real world use than Dash. So draw your own conclusions, I think that's what I'd say.
Right, and I suppose I want to bring this out to sort of a current events question as well. You know, at the moment we're seeing potential sort of risks in the global sort of economic system at the moment. In the last few days, markets have dropped, concerns about coronavirus growing. Now, I ask these questions in the context of, as we've seen cryptocurrency markets drop, putting out a hypothetical out there. Many say that there's concerns of a big global downturn coming in the near future. A lot of people in the cryptocurrency community say that there could be a reckoning in some of the smaller cap altcoins out there. Electroneum, now you did just mention, you know, the strong ecosystem. No doubt you guys have some good development going on, you know, new partnerships forming all the time. But do you think you would have the chops to survive in a potentially massively downturning market if that were to be the case?
Yeah, is the answer. I have absolutely no shadow of a doubt that we would. What it ultimately comes down to in any real business, and most cryptocurrency projects are not real businesses. They're heavily speculated upon, but they're not real businesses, and they haven't got a team doing any deals, haven't got half these things. There's a handful of real projects out there really putting things together. We are one of them. If we wanted to, we could go to the market right now with the fact that we've written this amazing software. We have a platform. So if you look at AnyTask.com and the ecosystem and the premises that we've got a route to market for these sellers for a start, because we've got NGOs that run our blockchain. The NGOs have already agreed, or two of them at least have already agreed to run trials on the ground and start introducing sellers. We have Task School coming out, which is a way for people to learn these digital skills. So we're very well placed. If we wanted to, we could do a conventional raise. So if we were to be underfunded at the moment, we've got, like I say, great treasury. But if we were in a situation where there was this massive market rout, we could definitely part with equity and bring in a conventional round of funding. So remember, Fiverr have had $111 million in, I think, 6 or 7 rounds of funding to get them to where they are. We are a credible competitor to Fiverr. So would we go off and be able to raise funding? Absolutely, we would. So even if we didn't have good treasury, we will still be in a great business place. So I'm very confident of our future.
All right, a strong sense of confidence. And just briefly there, Richard, you've talked about a lot of projects that already come out in 2020. You've hinted to some that are on the works, but anything we've missed in terms of projects or developments you guys have coming out in the next year or so?
No, probably not, except it's probably an update of the M1 phone. So it took us a long time to get the M1 phone stocked. You can now see the M1 phone being sold in Cambodia. We have a pallet has just been collected yesterday, I think, of M1 phones from the office to fly out there. It's been extremely well received. So that's stocked in cell card stores throughout Cambodia. So we're going to see more of the M1 selling, and we have an M2 under development, which again will be a super low cost smartphone, even lower cost than the last one, we believe.
All right, sounds like some interesting stuff in the future. Richard, Ells, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us again. Always a pleasure to have you on and have these conversations. And for those watching, stay with us at blocktv.com for all the latest in news and information. I'm westropp-evans. It's Haunt.
For more news and updates, follow us on Twitter.